Meursault was found guilty of murder, a crime he didn't deny committing. In the heat of the burning sun at the beach, he fired the gun multiple times and killed a man. Having taken to the court and being in prison, Meursault believed it was a simple situation. While he didn't expect to get away with the punishment, he surely didn't seem to be fazed about his future. Only a few days before the murder, Meursault had gone for the last rituals of his dead mother, where he denied having the casket opened to see his mother for one last time. During his final moments, he wasn't seen crying at least once, accepted coffee from the caretaker, and even smoked while his mother was still in the casket. What first impressions did Meursault create? How significant are the details about his behavior? And who is this Meursault? If we think about it, there are accepted ways of doing pretty much everything. How we talk, how we eat, how we dress, how we cry, and how we grieve. There are ways to do all this by being on the right side of social expectation spectrum, the side you should better be on to be accepted, included, and not judged. Any slight deviation from what's considered normal, especially when it's about religion, politics, lifestyle, can draw serious reactions, the kind of reactions one would like to avoid. Imagine being in the company of someone whose beliefs and actions are extremely different from yours. How comfortable can you be in such a company? Maybe you're a tolerant and open-minded person, but how would this play out with the society and the world around? Will such a person be accepted or seen as an outsider? In the book The Stranger, the author Albert Camus portrays this scenario through his main character, Meursault. While Meursault has no doubt committed the murder and will be punished for his act of crime, it is still left for the jury and the judge to decide the severity of it. His actions were not totally unprovoked, but will the jury weigh in the crime as an act of self-defense? Only that can prevent a death sentence for him. I accuse the prisoner of behaving at his mother's funeral in a way that showed he was already a criminal, claimed the prosecutor, and this played the deciding role in his death sentence. Almost everybody who was present at the funeral of his mother noticed how Meursault didn't show any sign of sadness. His behavior was cold and showed a lack of emotion. While the murder earned him a punishment, his failure to grieve for his dead mother in a socially acceptable fashion earned him a death sentence. But all this isn't real. Meursault's case is not the usual. The character and the story are fiction. Well, that's true. But through books and characters like these, fiction can help us pause and introspect where we are heading. As someone rightly said, fiction is a lie that speaks the truth, and the murder committed by Meursault isn't the only truth to be taken from this story. The story I'm making isn't in defense of Meursault, but even if the murder never happened, wouldn't people still find him an outsider for his detached and lack of sentiment character? The murder, the trial, and the final judgment not only exposed Meursault's different character, but also proves the level at which social expectations can influence our lives and the decisions we make. One need not be as different as Meursault to be judged and criticized for falling short of meeting the social expectations. We all must have experienced it in some form or the other. When the emptiness of man's heart becomes an abyss threatening to swallow up the society, the prosecutor added in his speech, referring to Meursault's way of life and how he thought Meursault was a threat to the system. When given a promotion at work to move to Paris, Meursault showed his indifference by saying that he was happy with where he was. When Marie asked if he wanted to marry her, he said he would, if that's what she wanted. But it didn't matter to him since they were already happy. When the judge and the chaplain tried to make him believe in God, he grew restless and spoke with passion that one need not suffer now for a better afterlife. One can make the most of present life itself, which is all there is. Career and goals, marriage and relationships, religion and God. Meursault's behavior in life is an attack on some of the principal pillars on which the society's culture and standards rest upon. And that was why he was a stranger, an outsider, and even an enemy to the very world he was part of. It's true we are driven by our emotions, but not all of us express them the same way. If it is not acceptable to not cry, to not visibly grieve when someone close dies, for how long should one grieve and how exactly should one mourn to prove that they care about the deceased? A lot of times we go to those who are in pain and say, "We understand," when honestly we have no clue what it is like. Pain is one of those few things which is truly personal, and no matter how much we want to help and think we understand, we never truly grasp the gravity of it when it's not us who is actually suffering. And then we want people to move on, to change. A lot of times it is to help the person, but when we are so lost in the labyrinth of our own thoughts, we're also confined by it. In the middle of all this, the whole purpose of being a support for someone turns into an act of meeting the expectations. Don't we all wonder during moments of disbelief, what's the point of everything? Don't we at times think it's better if only we could react practically instead of emotionally? Aren't we all aware how blind beliefs that come from social constructs give way to fear and hatred? Aren't we all Meursaults in one way or more? We judge others while a lot of times we are not so different from them. But since there is no outside witness for our inner thoughts, we all get away with it. And we call ourselves different from the others, the other Meursaults. As I sat down to write this story, the character I have chosen to talk about or the topic itself has made me feel hesitant to proceed. Maybe I should have chosen an easier story with a more comfortable context. But as it's said in the book, it is a silly thing to force one's thoughts out of their natural groove. So I kept going. I wonder what's the point of this story, and what meaning it serves. If Meursault hears me, he would probably say, "Why does that matter?"